Maybe it's old.
It could be old.
Yeah.
Because we had.
Yeah, see it right here?
We had 8 stations for a long
Rat
time.
hole
I've
right
only
there.
been keeping it under.
There's your rat hole. So
Yeah.
this is actually really good. So take a look at this so you can see it in the glare. Off to the right is the beginning of the foundation of the retaining CMU stuff, which is about right here. Then I'm going that way, okay, as I come this way.
Yeah.
And then here's your glob of concrete, and there's a hole right there.
Got it.
This is the opening window. It's about right here, I think. So if you want to turn this way, there you go. Now it lines up. This is my CMU. Here's my window with the hole. There's globs of concrete in here that probably came through, which is not all bad because the weird thing is they had excavated down below the footing that they poured and then left it, and then you end up with that erosion problem again. So it's not a bad thing if that's what happened.
Okay.
It's just kind of odd. It may throw some people for a loop.
Okay.
But what I'm going to say is because it's a non-bearing wall and there is concrete and there's not really a lot of erosion issues, that does not need the foundation wall.
Okay.
Okay. If that was bearing, I'd be more concerned that you would have some issues.
Okay.
Because this is where it settles down here, right? Yeah. So, and that probably had to do with the water and everything. Okay. So now we're cruising around and we have a really great CMU wall and there's some backfill issues that are needed, but for the most part it looks pretty good.
Okay. Is this a problem? Like where there's
So
any of
it's
this
not
stuff?
ideal because what's happening is your parge is protecting your concrete, and I can't get up under this.
The what
It's all-
is?
This is
Oh,
called
the
parge.
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 Oh, okay.
I have no idea how to spell it.
Yeah, it's fine.
P-A-R-G maybe. I can't get under this. It's only about 6 inches deep. And we'll just barely get a flashlight up there. So the issue with this is every time water splashes in there, it's going to deteriorate that area. But the only thing that's holding up is this little guy. So it's kind of, you could go in and fill that with the elastomeric grout and probably be fine. Yeah. And you'll want to do that for any cracks over a 1/4 inch anyways, or 3/16 of an inch. But there's very few cracks, at least the majority of the foundation, there was very few cracks that I saw.
So interesting. Like the one contractor, your guy, Manuel, was like, see, this is not even a foundation because, see, they did it afterwards because they put that in there. So what he was pointing out was the parge and saying that it's not even a foundation. But
Right.
He was giving me the impression that, like, there's no actual.
But did he go under?
Yeah.
Did he really? Was it covered at that point with the plastic?
No.
There was no
dirty.
vapor barrier.
But.
Because
so-
that's a brand new foundation in there. Well, not right here. I take that back. This is the CMU block.
Okay. Well, that's why we need
And maybe
you so
they
that you can.
popped. I mean, in an older home when they did this stuff even 40 years ago,
Yeah.
and who knows how many things they put in here.
Right.
But maybe they put in. This is really thick parge. I will tell you that.
Okay.
Normally, it's like a 1/2 inch thick. So the fact that they put like 2 inches on is
Yeah.
really weird. And that could have been. And maybe here there isn't a foundation.
Okay.
Let me double check my pictures last time because I did throw my flash.
He was talking about the whole thing, not even this spot.
Yeah, no, this definitely has a foundation.
Yeah. Okay.
And actually,
And maybe I just misunderstood. I don't know. It's hard to keep track of all these things.
no, that's covered in that corner.
Well, and you work with M. Leon recommends you a lot. So
Yeah.
they're the one,
Yeah,
said we
they're
need
the
an
one who
engineer's
said we
report
need
to
an
know what to
engineer,
do.
so-
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
there is a foundation. It's not a good one because, like I said, it's like 12 inches deep and pretty much stops
Right.
with no footing. So you have this, what we call a stem wall usually. This is the stem wall, and this is the foot, not in this,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that was a slab. But normally, in a house, you'll have this, right?
Yeah.
And then you have the plate, and then you have the floor, and then you have the wall. So you have a stem wall, and you have a footing. Well, yours has no footing. It's just a stem wall.
Right.
That's not a great foundation,
Okay.
okay? And that's what this is.
And that's why they've put this.
And that's why
but we
that
just don't know
That's
about this.
a big reason why they put this.
Yeah.
And that's why this settled. That's why your settlement issues, because there's not enough. So what happens is your load comes down like this spreads it out like that, so the soil can push back up. So the more area you have, the more load you can take.
Right.
Well, obviously at some point this soil got saturated, was overloaded, and because you only had those little tiny, maybe 6-inch wide, you didn't have enough capacity to support the load, in addition to the water causing the problem. So your soil lost strength, and your load was too great.
Okay.
So that's what happened here, in my opinion.
Okay.
That's my educated guess, because that's all we can do in situations like this. But that's, pretty. I'd be shocked if that's not what happened.
Okay.
Here, this is kind of where I think all the flags are being raised.
Yes.
So, my bearing wall, right? The concrete itself, I'm sorry, honey.
No.
The concrete itself actually looked pretty okay. I mean, when I talked to the inspector after the buyer I came out for originally, he indicated he thought the concrete was in really bad condition, and I honestly, along this wall, didn't see that at all.
Okay.
It's much worse along that wall.
Yeah.
I will tell you that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this wall, which is your bearing wall, so that's the good news.
Yeah.
This is your bearing wall. The concrete
Right.
itself still looked okay to me.
Okay.
There's some water issues, so you still have a drainage issue, and you need to get someone out here to make sure you're getting all the drainage done correctly.
Okay.
But once you stop the water, it stops, theoretically, the damage, where it
Right.
started.
Okay.
Dry rot's different. If you have dry rot, you got to
Right.
get it out.
Right.
But concrete, you should be okay so long as it's not so far gone.
Okay.
So, and the other issue with over here, and I think that settlement crack, there's a bunch of, it's not full. I mean, there's like this much gap between this wall and this. So it's like
Okay.
the dirt's way
Gravel.
down here.
Yeah.
So you've already started causing
Yeah.
settlement issues.
Right.
I don't know why they didn't fill this with gravel unless it was just too far away from the access. It was weird.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. You need to go have
Yeah.
someone go
That
through
means
and
gravel.
make sure.
Yeah.
And it's kind of compacted. You don't
Yeah.
have to get like a hammer compactor in, but have them have one of those hand compactors.
Yeah.
Because over time it'll settle and then you
Yeah.
have to keep. But
Okay.
so I'm not. What I saw on the inside, I think if you take care of the water and you take care of getting it filled in, the
Right.
concrete itself looked good.
Okay.
So now here's the question, and I'm going to do a really quick calc here, is how much load is coming down on this? Because maybe the 6 inches, even with this wall here, if there's too much coming down here, you're still going to have a settlement issue because you really only get this,
Right.
but this is allowing it to not slough.
Okay.
So let me run a really fast calc. Let's go figure out how wide
You have room dimensions.
I don't know what she's gonna do.
You want me to hold?
usually I'm okay, but my luck in 2017, I probably Thank you. All right. So we have 40 times 10 times 4. What is this glare that we? I'm not used to
I
this.
know.
What is this sun?
We're used to
you speak of?
raindrops on your photos.
I know. 40 times 10. That was silly. So 620. You're really close if that's 6 inches. So theoretically, well, I have to add the wall weight, and that's probably what's happening. So it's happening from the code requires a certain amount of load, right, for each level. So my load coming down here is basically 700 pounds per foot. In a worst case, heavy snowstorm, you're having a party in your bedroom. Okay, I mean, that is like the worst case the code requires us. If this is 6 inches, the code allows us 750 pounds per lineal foot.
Okay.
But that's worst case.
Right.
So theoretically, you should be okay. So what's probably happening is you don't actually have 750, because when they dug it out, they loosened the soil, blah, blah, blah. So chances are you're more like in the 500 range, maybe 300 range, because something happened. The water, everything is causing problems. But here's where I'm kind of torn, because I want to save you money too, but I also don't want you to run into a problem with your buyer.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Thank you.
Yes.
We're straddling that one.
Exactly. And I have to be careful, because if I screw up, I have to pay for it, basically. So let me think about this. I mean, we are really close. So I suppose, I mean, in the end, I can say if the water's all taken care of. So, because if you're still getting water in there, it's taking away the stability of the soil. All bets are off.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's ultimately what started the settlement.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at, if we stop the water,
Yeah.
what is the capacity of our soil at that point? And I think that's how I can say it, in that if this is 6 inches, and you'll have to have someone double check that. There is a couple of rat holes I tried to kind of stick my fingers in, but I didn't want to go too far. But they could easily do a spot. When they're doing the spot check for this, they can do the spot check for this width. And I'm 90% sure that's probably going to be at least 6 inches. If it's 4,
Then we're in trouble.
we're kind of in trouble. And it needs to be 6 before the parge. So let me think about that then. Because your walls are probably only 4 inches. It might only be 4. Let's see if I got one. No, but it sticks out from the wall. Oh, it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. I might poke my head back in over here so I can tell over there. If it's 4, then what we need to do is go in and basically confirm this is at least 6. And then support basically this off of this. That's what we need to do.